Welcome back to Blog TV. Tonight we're asking the question, exactly how far will bloggers go in order to garner hits online? We have a tweet that's come in that says, I think as bloggers, this tweet is from Brother Bear 3, thank you by the way, I think as bloggers gain more and more power, they ought to blog more responsibly.
What do you guys think?
I think that's true.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so would you say bloggers are actually responsible for the comments and how the impressions that their viewers or their readers actually
Not
get?
the comments, but you should always be responsible for the content that you're posting.
Do you agree with that, Piggy?
Definitely, to a certain extent.
So you stand by everything that you ever post, that you actually post?
Yes, I do. I will not remove it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, we're actually going to pull up a little website here of a blogger. Her name is Bong Chiu Chiu, who actually received a lot of attention for blogging about her boob job. All right, and we actually had Mandy, one of our online presenters, to actually interview Bong Chiu Chiu about putting up, you know, this entire bit.
It's like a given. If I do boob job and I share, people will definitely talk about it. So I didn't like intentionally want people to talk about. Yeah.
Right. But why did you choose to kind of be public about it?
Because I share everything on my blog, like really everything. So there's nothing to hide, and this is something like really close to my heart, and I thought it's interesting also for myself. So I would definitely want to like record this down on my blog, which is like after all like a diary of my own.
All right, and for, of course, the rest of the video, please check out our website, blogtv.sg.
My question is for Charlie. Who do you think will get more hits, an award-winning blogger like Kirsten or Bong Chiu Chiu?
Definitely her. There is absolutely no reason why Kirsten will get more hits than her. That's how the internet works. You put up a bit of nudity, you put up a bit of scandal, and that's where all the traffic goes. But that's not necessarily mean that she has more influence than Kirsten.
Okay, well, let me ask you, Kirsten. I mean, okay, it's pretty hard to compete, isn't it? I mean, when you have a lot of bloggers who are out there trying to get attention, and they will go through things like this to actually get the attention.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, concentrate more on, you know, political opinions, things which are deemed more serious. Are you boring by comparison?
I don't think I'm boring, but it doesn't bother me that they get more. Like, I know that they will get more hits. That's just how it works.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah, so it doesn't...
So you don't actually feel there's any sort of competition at all?
No.
You're not fighting for
It's completely
same
different
pie.
things.
Okay.
Yeah, we are of different style.
All right, and what about you, Pete?
It all comes down to audience. First of all, I wouldn't go nude because I'd lose readers. But
You won't even get a lot of audience.
exactly. No, I think, you know, once you find your niche, that there's you know what your readership is. You know the sort of people through the emails they send you, and what garners a lot of interest. Having said that, if I write something a little bit controversial, like about people crushing bunnies or something, all of a sudden the spike in traffic is huge.
True.
So controversy is always going to attract traffic.
So what are internet users really interested in?
Yeah, well, let's ask you, Charlie. What do you think internet users are into?
Sensationalism?
Well, if you try and do an analysis
Information?
of Google searches and find out what people are searching for, sex always ends up right at the top. And there are, at any given day, minute, second, hundreds of thousands of millions of people searching for things related to sex. And that's what, I guess, is one of the most popular things that people do online. And before Facebook happened, the most popular thing to do online was watch porn. And
Yeah, that's the ugly truth, right? Like people like blood and sex.
All right, let me bring up this recent survey by the Institute of Policy Studies that showed that only 3 out of 10 people turned to blogs for information during the recent general elections.
For information.
For
as in-
information, yes.
I think a lot of people went online for opinion and not necessarily information.
Yeah, that's
They wanted to discuss. They weren't trying to find out, you know, what's going to happen. They want to discuss, to debate, sometimes to just troll.
Yeah.
But I don't think that... I'm not surprised by that.
I mean, background information is already all over the news,
Yeah,
right? What's
why
the
would
point
you-
of going
yeah.
to
So
a
you
blog?
don't see yourself, so bloggers, no, information's not your top priority, is it
opinion?
more of a platform
Yeah,
for
for me
people to
it's
air
more
their views
opinion.
and
I'm
for
not...
you-
I don't blog to tell people what's already happening because that's already out there.
That's right.
What about the advertisers? What do advertisers look for when it comes to parking their cash into a certain website that they think works?
Advertisers would look at it in 2 ways. One, they would look at a blog as a pure advertising medium. It's space that I can hire to put my message there. if I need to engage with the blogger in a more meaningful way, then I would look at relevance. I would look at how this blogger can relate to my brand. So, for example, if we were to work with Peggy, we might consider her for a nightclub, but we would never consider her for baby food, for example.
Okay. Well, Peter, when you blog, let's ask you, how do you decide what to blog about?
It depends. If there's something going on in my life that's relating to my family that I want to get to message to family and friends, I'll blog about that. During the election, I felt very close to a couple of people that were involved in the election, so I had to have a little bit of a say. But generally, I like to, I mean, I've won awards for Best What the Hell blog, so I like to find things that are out there that perhaps we haven't seen in Singapore, especially in, say, the US, Australia, England, that doesn't quite make the media here, but when people do hear about it, they go, what the hell? So that interests me.
But when you do update your blog, do you think about, all right, if I do this update, I wonder how many hits I'm going to have at the end of it? Or do you think about, maybe this could be an avenue for advertisers to
absolutely not.
Not at all?
Once upon a time, that was all that was important.
It's a different story for you, isn't it, Peggy?
Yes, Peggy. I mean,
it's
when
quite
did you,
the other way around, isn't it?
Do you feel your blog is still your own?
Of course, well, that's where my passion lies, right? It's about myself and sharing about my life and fashion and beauty. Definitely not. Of course, if an advertiser engaged me for an advertisement, I have to go along, you know, what they want. But apart from that, my usual post is all, you know, still from my origin, yeah.
Okay, but the thing is, when you put a video out like that, when you update your blog, when you put something new into your blog, do you think about, gee, I wonder how many more hits I can garner by doing this? Or do you think about, gee, I wonder whether these advertisers would come over if I did this?
Actually, I don't do that. Yeah, I just write whatever I think, you know, is interesting for myself, and yeah. So I just post it that way.
All right, well, back to a round of yes-no.
I don't really think that's true, because I don't think any blogger writes something and does not want people to read it. I think hits are always at the back of any blogger's mind, and they may not think about advertisers, but hits is something which is always on all bloggers' mind, and I'm sure both of you and all of you check your analytics.
I think it depends on whether, you know, like political bloggers, they go for more on the niche market, but we go for the mass. So of course we have to write something that interests other people as well, but it remains interesting for me too. That's why I continue writing.
So you're disagreeing with what you said earlier?
No, I still agree with what I say. I mean, a lot of people, new bloggers, they actually start writing things that interest other people. But that's not for my case, you know, because I started writing things that, you know, it's about my own life and things that I find, you know, that I like. So,
you know, when I mentioned the advertising dollar earlier to all of you, you did mention that, for example, for you, when you started blogging 12 months into it, then you realized it could be used as an avenue for advertising. For you, it was 6 years after you started blogging, because you had started very early. For you as well, quite a few years. When you all were aware about this advertising dollar, how did it influence your blogs?
Not at all.
Not at all?
I actually turn down everything that I get.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did you turn it down?
Because
it's money.
It's not why I blog, and it's not... My objective was never to make money out of it. This is what I do for fun. I feel that once money starts going in, people start expecting, like, oh, you should update this much. You can't just... Because I go away for months, and then my blog is just kind of empty for months.
All right.
But I feel
we'll talk more about this in just a while. Controversial video belonging to Peggy Haim posted up on her website. Coming up after the commercial break, we are going to be speaking to your father to find out what he had to say about her blog. Stay tuned to Blog TV.